my name is HilalElver. I'm a professor of law, international law, and human rights law, and I'm also a member of the high-level panel of experts at Committee of Food Security. Right to food, first of all, is one of the basic human rights, what we define like that, which is in order to survive, you need to eat and you need to have a housing and you need to have a health and right to work. So a bunch of human rights principles that bring the livelihood of peoples, and the states are responsible to give the system of the such rights could be used, and the individuals and the people have a right to ask from the government to deliver such a system that they can use this basic right. This is the most simplistic way of explaining right to food. And it started first in 1948, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's a very important human rights document. And this is a declaration that gave this kind of general principles of the economic and social and cultural rights. Right to food is one of them. And then we have covenants, two covenants. One is civil and political rights. The other one is economic and social cultural rights. And this second covenant, which 1966 opened the signature, Article 11, made the right to food as a kind of important obligations to the states, and the right to demand that right to the citizens. Well, the one more important thing is food policy. It could be food system transformation or looking at the global food policy. There are many technical issues that the technical side of the food security has to be delivered, but also social and the legal obligations that right to food brings to the table. So if because a series of policy has to be done by the governments and by other organizations, private sector, civil society, and it's an important to let the ordinary citizens and ordinary people, that kind of policies should be investigated and should be the governments should be responsible to deliver this job. That's why human rights are very important, because human rights gives the legal legitimacy that asking your rights from your government. So there are different kind of principles. How do we do that? For instance, human rights friendly or human rights based principles of the food policy requires participation into the decision making. So who is making a decision for the food systems? Everyone will have a right to voice and right to be part of it. The other one is this policies has to be transparent, must be known by everyone, and then it has to be equally be applicable without any discrimination for every citizens, no matter who they are, where they live, and what is their ethnic and gender differences. And also these rights, if there will not be implemented, access to justice, very important, the citizens has to have a right to go to either court or some other monitoring mechanism to get the accountability. States is accountable, not to breach, not to violate these rights, and also states are responsible to regulate that the others cannot be violating, like a private sector or some other institution, some other things that has to be protected by state. So there is a bunch of principles that we have to follow, that how food security would be just, equitable, and implementable in the everywhere. Well, it is the biggest challenge is actually many countries don't know right to food, what kind of rights uh, give to citizens, and they also have to recognize that they have the responsibility. So you have to tell the governments, they know it, but they try not to go too deeper because it gives a huge obligation to the states. That's why we talk about the progressive realization of the right to food, because some of the countries are not economically capable to bring the system that the citizens are able to produce their own food or able to buy at the market. So in order to buy at the market, you have to have a right to work. So that is a very economistic way of implementing rights. That's why many of the countries have difficulty because they don't have economic power. Another important problem, some of the countries, especially the western side of the world, they don't clearly accept economic and social and cultural rights, proper human rights. So they basically look at the negative rights, which is like a civil and political rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. These are, or freedom of association. The states just do nothing, just allow the citizens use these rights. But economic, social, and cultural rights, states have to do the system, give them an opportunity how to live a decent life. So that's why economic, social, and cultural rights have difficulty to be implemented on the ground. So that's the most difficult. So you have to teach the citizens, you have to teach the states that right to food is an important tool to make the food security more acceptable, more applicable, and also they have to understand these policies should have a certain kind of monitoring mechanism. All the mechanisms should come together with the right to food, not only in the constitution, but also implementation.